Hi, my name is Dan Keenan. I am a soybean farmer, farm with my family on our family's farm in northwestern Saginaw County. I'm also currently serving as secretary on the board of directors for the Michigan Soybean Association. The Michigan Soybean Association, for those of you that don't know, is a member-driven group that works on behalf of Michigan soybean producers. The MSA advocates for Michigan soybean farmers and educates legislatures and regulators on issues that are important to the soybean producer. Some of those issues might involve the Farm Bill. They might also involve infrastructure, technology, biofuels, the environment, just to name a few. I'm also here today to talk about the term sustainability and how that is a term that is used quite often recently. It has a different definition to different people. That's no different than farms. Farms look at sustainability in different ways. Not one isn't better than the other or worse than the other, it's just looked at different. It's important to realize at first that a farm generates its revenue and supports its family from the land. So the thought that a farmer or a farm doesn't consider the well-being of their land is just not correct. The land that the farmer uses to support their family, the quality and the integrity of it is very important to them. What we have the advantage of over the last few years is that technology has made practices more efficient and easier to apply in order to obtain that sustainability. In regards to sustainability on this farm, we're currently standing on my family centennial farm. We're 114 years old. This farm has survived and supported 5 generations of my family. If that's not sustainability, I really don't know what is. This farm has survived 2 world wars, the Great Depression, the farm crisis of the 80s, and many droughts and floods. And during that time, we've continued to prosper. We've done this because of some of the practices we've used in the past and are currently using. We kind of view sustainability in 2 different aspects. One is infrastructure, another one is actual production practices. In regards to infrastructure, a few years back we invested in a more energy efficient dryer to dry corn. The efficiency is quite a bit better than what our older dryer was. We also invested in plumbing natural gas back there, so we are running on natural gas instead of propane. We invested in fuel tank containment storage, so our tanks are in a isolated contained dike that prevents any leaks from the tank from reaching any kind of groundwater. We also invested in the same concept but with fertilizer. We've got liquid fertilizer storage and containment. That way any kind of leaks in transfer or in storage are contained to the fertilizer dike itself and not into the groundwater. We've also capped some obsolete wells that were in production to try to eliminate any risk to groundwater in that scenario. Some other things on the infrastructure side that we've done is we invested in an office a couple years ago. And it may not sound too fancy, but what it has done is allowed us to localize all of our records, fertility and pest management, and it's also made it more efficient in planning our fertility and our pest management program. The second aspect we look at is actual production practices, and some of the things that we've done there when it comes to actually growing the crop. We actually implemented a pest and nutrient management plan. We had some help with this. This was a few years ago. It gives us a written down plan when it comes to our fertility and our pest management. We try to use the 4R approach when it comes to our fertility. That refers to the right source, the right rate, the right time, and the right place for the nutrients to be applied. In order to do that, some of the things that we do to try to implement those, we soil sample all of our fields every couple of years. Try to keep that in rotation. That gets us the right source. That tells us what we are lacking and what we are not lacking, what needs to be applied and what we don't have to apply. We use variable rate technology when it comes to seeding and fertilizer, so that gives you your right rate. We also invested in a on-farm nitrate testing kit that allows me to monitor our nitrate levels in our soil, so that allows me to apply at the right time. And we also do some precision technology tools that get the placement of the fertilizer, so the right place. It gets the fertilizer in where the plant can reach it and not off to the side where maybe it's not as efficiently utilized. So some of these things that we are using to try and not only benefit us economically, but it's better for the environment and keeps us sustainable. Another thing we've done recently is we've used the technology of Barris mapping. We run a tool across all of our fields, and essentially that's a high definition map of all of our soil zones. That gives us a better way to custom tailor each field and manage each zone accordingly. That way you are not just applying a blanket amount of fertilizer across the whole field, you're custom tailoring it to that specific zone. Some practices that we've been recently looking at involve cover crops, drone technology for scouting purposes, and precision components on the planter. Now, these are just some of the practices that we use on our farm. I know many farms in the area also utilize them. Some of the tools and technologies and practices that we use to continue our sustainability are made possible and helped through advocacy from the Michigan Soybean Association. We know that farming practices, farming in general, has been under attack recently by people that may not fully understand the practices and technology that we have at our hands. We need groups like the Soybean Association to counteract those voices in Lansing and in Washington, D.C. We know that the opposition is down there. We need a voice to speak on behalf of the Michigan and American soybean farmer. That's what the MSA does. On our farm, legacy is a big deal, along with many farms that I know. 114 years, we're very proud of that. I'm the 5th generation. In order for the 10th generation to continue on this farm, we need groups like the MSA to follow through and speak up for the American farmer.